Hey, shout out to my ADOS family. I'm going to be getting started here shortly. I just want to give a little bit more time to let people show up. This is going to be one for the history books, family. I promise you, I've been doing mad research, putting together mad information. We about to address the fuckery once and for all. Make sure you shout out your brothers and sisters in the chat. Make sure that if you feel like you got the spare coin, go ahead and hit the links that I pop in there. Show me some love and get your drinks, get your snacks, because we going the fuck in. Y'all make sure to hit that like button or the hater button on your way in. Make sure you share this on your social media platforms. And if you are new, welcome home. I want to make sure that you stick around and stay a bit, so make sure you subscribe too as well. Man, fuck that shit. Y'all know how much I hate doing CP time, you know what I'm saying? I want to say peace, shalom, salamu alaikum, hotep. Welcome to all of my ADOS family, all of our allies and other interested parties. We're going to get it in today, family. This special broadcast is going to be me on your behalf, making the case for us to set ourselves aside as ADOS, right? As you all well know, for the last, 2 weeks now, it seems like we've been seeing people straight hating, calling us shills, bots, slandering our names across social media, putting us on blast.
Passing your plate, waiting all day for this.
Thank you, Brother Cease. I appreciate the tip, man. Check it out. We've gone through the crucible on social media for the last few weeks, but I'm here to tell you that these sons of bitches that have been acting as detractors, as buffers, as deflectors for us identifying ourselves as a unique and distinct lineage with a unique heritage, essentially as family, their time is done. Because today, on this broadcast, at this moment, I'm going to lay out completely the case for us setting ourselves aside as a distinct and unique group. No more of this people of color shit. No more of this bullshit shade from the so-called Pan-Africanists and so on and so forth. That shit's done after today. All right? All you'll have to do moving forward is refer those people to resources like ADOS101.com or shoot them the link to this video. Because at this particular point, if they're not seeing, it's not because they don't know or can't know. It's because they won't know. You feel me? So let's go ahead and get started, right? As you all know, I titled this broadcast the way I titled it because I wanted to make it clear right from the get-go why we fight under the ADOS banner, right? No, Epic, you're not late, brother. You're right on time. By the way, shout out to everybody in the chat. I love you, brothers and sisters. Thank you so much for your kindness, your eyes and ears, and may I continue to do us justice. There's a reason, a specific reason why this is the time for us to come together, male or female, young or old, religious or non-religious, or whatever our social, economic, political, whatever strata we exist in as American descendants of slaves. There's a reason why this is the time. Because there is something coming for us, family. Something coming for us that requires our unity, requires us to sit all the bullshit aside and make this the focus. But before I get to that, let's go ahead and let's break down for these ignorant motherfuckers the reasons why we fight. Because any of you who have even a modicum of intelligence will understand after this video the unique, clear history that we have in this country, the exact reasons why we not only need to fight, but should fight under this banner of ADOS. Understand one quick thing, family, one quick thing, just a little spot of housekeeping. I've seen some of you out there, not haters per se, but fence sitters, right? Remember, on the way in, hit that, you know what I'm saying, hit the hater button or hit the like button, all right? But I've seen some of you come in, go on different broadcasts, different things and so on and so forth, and you're having an issue with the name, right? American Descendants of Slaves. So before I even get into this, let me go ahead and break down really quickly what the name, the hashtag is. We'll start with American, because there's a not insubstantial number of you who have a problem with us identifying as American. The reason why we identify as American is very simple. Because the vast majority of us who share this melanin, who share our lineage, descend from people who, while they are from Africa, have never had a connection, a tie to Africa. At around 1780, 1790 or so, matter of fact, let's even move it forward a bit. The importation of Africans from the continent in the triangular trade ended in America by law in 1807. That was when the ban on the importation of new slaves from Africa and other places was instituted in the United States. At that time, there was approximately 400,000 enslaved Africans from various areas, mostly from the Senegambian region of Africa, here in the United States. At the end of slavery in 1865, right at the start of the Reconstruction period, there was around 4.5 million, let's just call it 5 million slaves that were freed at that moment. What this means is essentially very simple. It's just a simple math problem. It means that over 90% of our ancestors that were freed at the moment or at the end of the Civil War period were people who, while they are of African descent, never had any tie whatsoever to the continent of Africa. They were native-born Black Americans. Now, I'm not certain why I need to keep banging on that drum for all you motherfuckers that seem to be riding the short bus out there, but it bears repeating. American just simply identifies the fact that while we share that African descent, right, genetically speaking, the overwhelming majority of us never had a tie whatsoever to Africa. We never came from an African tribe. We never were from a specific place in Africa. We were born, bred, lived, breathed, ate, worked, beaten, sweated, and died here. That's number one. The descendant piece, no one has any issue with. It's obvious that we descend from those people. And the last part is slaves. Y'all say shit like, man, identifying as slaves is disempowering to us. You know, it makes us seem weak. No, it doesn't. What it does is it identifies the beginning of our lineage. Our lineage as Americans, our lineage began as slaves. From the first 20 slaves that landed on the shores of Virginia in 1619 up until the ending of slavery in 1865, that was the beginning of our distinct and unique lineage. No one else's. I'm not asking you motherfuckers from other places to identify yourselves with slavery. If you so choose not to, don't. But I'll be damned if I discount 245 years of my ancestry just to make you motherfuckers feel some kind of way, to make y'all feel comfortable. Isn't it funny, though, how the name encompasses the whole shebang? We started here. It tells us what our status was when we started here. It clearly identifies our lineage succinctly, clearly, and definitively. So I don't want to hear any more of this fence sitter bullshit about you feeling some sort of way because we identify as the American descendants of slaves. Some of you want to say descendants of American slavery. Let's not get caught up in the verbiage because you understand the concept. The concept is that we are a set aside, distinct, and unique class of people in the United States. That's the concept. Fuck what you feel about the name. You can call yourself what you like. I got BADOS brothers out there. I got DOAS brothers and sisters out there. I got ADOS brothers and sisters out there. It don't matter what title you're deciding to use. What matters is you understand the concept behind the title. So are we done with the remedial ass politics 101 semantic arguing bullshit, family? Are we done with that? We are descendants of slaves. Our history as Americans started under slavery. We're not limited to slavery, unlike some of you dumb motherfuckers keep arguing out there. That's not the limit of what drives us to pursue justice against this nation. No, but it is the beginning of our justice claim here. And I, for one, as your brother and one who loves you, have no motherfucking qualms about telling you to take several seats before I diminish my ancestors by denying the reality of what and who they were from the beginning, from the inception of our lineage here in this country. Period, point blank, the goddamn end. We're done with that. So, it's time now. It's time that I lay out the case for ADOS. It's time that I explain finally and definitively to all the detractors, all the haters exactly what it is that we are, what we have gone through, why we fight, and why this moment in time under this banner is the penultimate moment that our ancestors have been waiting for. Let us start at the beginning. We know for a fact that enslaved Africans were brought over to the New World, starting very shortly after Cristobal Colombo discovered it, right? We know from the histories written, histories like Bartolome de las Casas, history of the Americas, what happened. We know that they wiped out the Taino and other native groups that were here. We know that. We also know that in the 1500s, the triangular trade essentially started, right? There were black slaves from Africa who were brought over here to the New World. However, we usually choose 1619 because of a particular circumstance that happened in 1619. In 1619, the first of 20 African slaves arrived in Virginia, right? Now, again, this is not to say that there were never any African slaves that arrived on this continent before 1619. But since our history is distinctly and uniquely tied up in the history of the original English colonists here, then it makes sense for us to delineate 1619 as the start of our travails. All right? In other words, family, our story has to start somewhere. So it started in 1619. Now, let me make one thing clear. There were also free blacks, free Africans, right, who came here under indenture contracts, who served on ships as bosun's mates and bosun's, bosun's mates, coulson's mates, and so on and so forth, right? And these people had an opportunity to gain land and resources, right? So we're not saying that every single black person that was here was ever under slavery. That would be foolish. Okay? As a matter of fact, let's jump forward in time a little bit from 1619. Let's talk about Bacon's Rebellion. Bacon's Rebellion was the first time that you saw in the colonies, right, an attempt to address economic injustice, to address the needs of Americans, even though we weren't Americans yet. But this was the first attempt that you saw at the movement in America toward leveling people, toward bringing people to the same status, with the same rights, the same capabilities. That's essentially the American ethos, is that at the end of the day, we're all fucking Americans, right? Well, Bacon's Rebellion in 1676 was proof positive of this thing. And I'm going to tell you why. Because under Bacon's Rebellion, it wasn't just white folks. Free blacks, black indentured servants, and slaves who were promised their freedom joined with poor white colonists to rebel against a moneyed planter class. This was also a key point in the history of this country, this landmass, because after Bacon's Rebellion, you saw a push for more importation of African slaves into the United States. You see, this multicultural, right, multi-ethnic uprising, which actually was successful in its aims except for the death of Francis Bacon, which effectively killed the rebellion. They had taken Jamestown. You had whites and blacks fighting side by fucking side. So much for them white folks ain't gonna never give you niggas shit. Even before America was America, the colonists understood that having the black people here, their interests were distinctly tied to theirs. But the moneyed class, the plantation class, right, the ones with all the land and all the power, had to keep us at each other's throats. They used Bacon's rebellion to start passing laws forbidding us to have connections with others, right? So this is when you started to see the advent of laws saying that blacks had to be off by themselves, that whites can't have Congress with blacks. Because before Bacon's rebellion, it was nothing for whites and blacks to run away together on indenture contracts, to also bring slave brothers and sisters with them. We had slaves that successfully sued in court for their rights to be protected from rape, to be protected from from poverty in the case of being forcibly impregnated by the so-called masters. You forget, motherfuckers, that this thing was in flux before it was all hard and fast chattel slavery bullshit. They were still trying to tweak it. And before they could tweak it, before they could even get it into place, we was in that ass. And it wasn't just us. I'm going to read to you a quote from Michelle Alexander's The New Jim Crow. Quote, "The events in Jamestown were alarming to the planter elite, who were deeply fearful of the multiracial alliance of indentured servants and slaves. Word of Bacon's rebellion spread far and wide, and several more uprisings of a similar type followed. In an effort to protect their superior status and economic position, the planters shifted their strategy for maintaining dominance. They abandoned their heavy reliance on indentured servants in favor of the importation of more black slaves." Unquote. For all of you punk motherfuckers from the diaspora and from the continent who say that we just rolled over, that we just took it up the ass, that we've been the lapdogs of white folks since we've been here, I think I have debunked your fucking position. And not only have I debunked it, but I debunked it by also showing that every push for justice in this country has been multi-ethnic, multiracial, and multicultural. So as time progressed, and the importation of more Africans as slaves being brought to this country, and the gelling of chattel slavery in that unique, peculiar institution that only Fortress America could do, time progressed. And then in 1765, the first shots of what would commonly be referred to, what would become known as the American Revolutionary War, occurred. And again, right from the beginning, our ancestors, those enslaved Africans, stood to fight. They were so willing to fight for freedom, they fought on both sides of the motherfucking house. Shout out to my Nova Scotian brothers and sisters in the great country of Canada, the descendants of the black loyalists who fought on the side of Britain. Both sides, by the way, made us promises. What's good, Brother Gab? You know me, hit me up anytime, bruh. Both sides made promises to us They promised us freedom. They promised us land. They promised us the opportunity to be able to stand on our own two, united with our own people, having our own autonomy. And so we put down the hoe. We put down the fork. And we picked up the motherfucking gun. And at times, Africans made up the majority of certain units of fighters on both sides. I bet you didn't know that while the whole rest of the colonists were waiting to see which side was going to win, because only about 3 to 5% of the colonists were active combatants against Britain. What would be commonly known, or what would become to be known as Black Americans, stood up in droves. We stood up when they offered us the opportunity to gain our freedom, to gain a piece of this soil that we had worked so hard and toiled for. We stepped up. There were no cowards. There were no weak-willed, jelly-back, bitch-made motherfuckers among my ancestors. We were so willing to get freedom and to get resources and to get our due that we fought on both sides of the goddamn house. By the way, shout out again to our Nova Scotia brothers and sisters. Do you know why? Because after hundreds of years of not having proper deed to their land, they have finally been able to force Nova Scotia to give them proper deed and title to the land that their ancestors fought and bled for. We right behind you, our Nova Scotian brothers and sisters. We right behind you. You know what, Charles Irby, we know it. It wasn't like they accepted our Nova Scotian brothers and sisters with open arms. Because what was true for them is true for blackness everywhere. No ADOS person is denying that. We all understand that to a certain degree, we have a shared history with Europeans. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about my distinct and unique history with my Europeans, you know, Americans. After the war, right, the end of the war in 1783, right, the British in the main kept their promises to their black loyalists, right? They settled them in places like Nova Scotia. They settled them in the colony that would ultimately become known as Sierra Leone, right? But again, as usual, America shaded us. They started passing laws forbidding the Africans from militia service, from owning firearms and weaponry, and ultimately re-enslaved those who had been promised freedom. This country has always promised us. It knows what it owes. It knows exactly what it owes to us. They've just consistently reneged on this shit. That don't mean that we don't have a right to push for it. It don't mean that they don't owe us. So while all these motherfuckers out here talking this drivel, this Pan-African, this pipe dream bullshit, trying to tell you that you are begging the white man for advocating for what the fuck you're owed, this country knows what it owes us. We the only ones that continue to be sold a bill of goods, acting like we don't have the right to demand what the fuck is ours, that we're somehow another lesser than by advocating and pushing for what the fuck is our due. I don't have no pride when it comes to fighting and advocating for you. None. My My ego is out the motherfucking window. My ancestors won't let me be too proud to fight for you. Everybody after this broadcast, like I said, shade and smoke. If they can't debunk what we're talking about today, they get nothing but shade and smoke moving forward. You don't have to entertain their bullshit ass rhetoric or arguments. You don't have to address any of their drivel. Shade and smoke. You understand, family, these facts that I'm laying down is a matter of history. This is concrete evidence of why we fight. Now, I mentioned already that in 1807, the British were a little earlier on it. In 1803, the Brits banned the importation of African slaves from the continent, right? Thus effectively ending the triangular trade. America was a little late to the motherfucking party because, you know, them goddamn southern plantation masters just couldn't be asked to go to Congress and, you know, support the shit, right? So in 1807, I think it was April of 1807, as a matter of fact, Congress finally bans the importation of new African slaves, right? And at that time, there was around 400,000 or so slaves who were African in the United States of America, right? As we now know, at the end of slavery, right? Now, before we get there, pause. Because we do need to talk about one of the most pivotal moments in the history of the United States. And that was the war of brother against brother. The Civil War, the Grays versus the Blues. Make no mistake about it. White folks will talk about it with states' rights and all this other bullshit. In point of fact, it was fought over economic power, which was primarily generated through slavery. Let's not get it twisted. The South was rich. These motherfuckers, when they say the Southern aristocracy, they wasn't bullshitting. And before you say, well, what about all the poor white folks in the South? Slavery was such an enriching economic activity that planter class was easily able to sustain a bunch of poorer motherfuckers too. So everybody in the South ate off of slavery. But one thing that we don't talk about is the fact that everybody in the North ate off of slavery too. Or where did you think all of those cotton bales, all of those bundles of tobacco, all of that shit was going? It was going to businesses and financiers that were primarily based in the North. And before we continue even further, we have to understand that slavery still existed in the North too. New York, right? The state of New York had one of the largest breeding plantations in this country. I read a report that said that the average black female slave bore on average 10 children as compared to 3 in the Caribbean and in other places of the diaspora. And you ask, where the hell does ADOS come from? There's your answer right there. When you got each of our women giving birth to children over and over and over, like a fucking brood mare, like a sow, you're going to breed more slaves. And they weren't just children that were born by the union of ADOS with ADOS. Because, of course, one of slavery's great and well-known prerogatives was the right to the bodies of their slaves. What's good, Spook? So we know that there was not an insubstantial number of them who were of mixed ethnicity, mixed race, who still bore the title of slave. Because remember, the law said that whatever the status of your mother is what you are. So if your mother was a slave, then it didn't matter if you was light, bright, and damn near white. You were a slave. That's also why here in Fortress America, American descendants of slaves have everybody of every shade or hue, from cafe au lait to charcoal. Peace, Sister Lila. Love you too. So, the Civil War. The war of brother versus brother. Now, mind you, family, let's not get it fucked up. It's not like the North was so eager to see us free either. You know, they talk about Abraham Lincoln as being the great emancipator. But in a campaign speech on the stump, Abraham Lincoln basically said that there has to be somebody on the top and somebody on the bottom. And I am all for the assigning of the inferior position to the Africans. So let's not get it twisted. Old Abe Lincoln was just another motherfucking white man of his time. That's facts. Genesis is right. We use the term motherfucker these days a little bit different than how it was used back in the day. Because on those breeding plantations, let's just say that they were not necessarily discriminate about who it is they had you stud or breed with. Some of us, unfortunately, lay with our own mothers or our sisters and bore children. As long as they were big, beefy, strong, and enduring, nobody gave a fuck. They didn't have but a rudimentary understanding of genetics, if any understanding of genetics back in those days. I think they understood maybe Mendelian genetics, but nothing on the level of what we understand today. So the war of brother versus brother. Black people again, with the eye to freedom, to land, to resources, to finally being able to live as Americans, fought on both sides. Yes, we had brothers and sisters who fought in support of the Confederacy, especially when the war started to turn, because the South was kicking the North's ass. And let's not get it fucked up. The South was putting in work. And they had free blacks in the South who actually were slave owners and shit too. So they were fully on board with the Confederacy. But then, as the tide started to shift a little bit, the South said, wait a minute. Now we can either still be the South and get our motherfucking asses kicked, or we might need to revisit a little bit how we doing what we doing with our niggers. So you actually, toward the end of the war, already had Southerners freeing their own slaves as long as they would commit to fighting for the preservation of the Confederacy. So yes, you had free blacks, freedmen, who were fighting on the side of the Confederacy. That's just fact. We, of course, know that the North, because it was getting its ass kicked, took a look at all those free persons of color, which didn't mean Mexicans, it didn't mean Asians, it didn't mean any of that shit, it meant niggas. It said, shit, we got a lot of white motherfuckers out there dying at Antietam, at Gettysburg, and so on and so forth. Maybe we should let the niggas fight. So both sides, with the promise of freedom on their lips, said, grab your gun, black man, and you'll finally get your due. And we did. Shout out to the Massachusetts 54th, you brave motherfuckers. Died to a man with heart, with honor, with bravery. As General Sherman made his push through the South, kicking the Southerners' motherfucking ass, the Union lines started to swell. Now, at first, they didn't quite know what to make of us. There was a term that they used to describe the freed slaves. They called them contraband. Because remember, even to the Northerners, we were still property. So what is property that you're not really supposed to have your hands on, but you got? It's contraband. So they called us contrabands. And these huge camps of contrabands starting building up around the areas where the United States troops, the Union troops, were encamped. Now, Tecumseh, right, General Sherman, was a pretty smart motherfucker. So he tried at first putting these people's labor to use. You got them sitting here, we're feeding them, we're taking care of them. Let's see if we can use them. So you had runaway slaves, free, who self-freed. They voted with their feet as the Union armies came through, who gladly served on the front lines as civilians, building fortifications, running soldiers to medical tents, and so on and so forth. And you think Sherman didn't see all this? He didn't see the willingness of this people who had nothing to risk every little thing that they had. So what did he do? He issued Special Field Orders number 15 that took 400,000 acres of abandoned land, right? Because the planters, those pussy-ass aristocrat motherfuckers, ran for parts unknown, mostly Houston. Let's just keep it quiet. Let's just keep it a buck, right? They ran for Texas, bitch-ass niggas, right? And took off, left the land. 400,000 acres. He promised to divide it up evenly amongst the families of those freed slaves, those slaves that ran away, the contrabands. 40 acres to each family. And since they had been dragging millions of mules behind them because of part of their supply chains, their logistics train, and they had plenty of mules, General Sherman said, shit, we'll even throw in a mule for you to get you started. That right there was the origin of the 40 acres and a mule. That's our shit. That's your shit. You fought for it. You didn't beg nobody for it. You didn't go up there and say, oh, dear Master Sherman, if you just give us a piece of land, I swear we's love you forever. No! You fought for that shit. You bled for it. You dug trench after trench, ditch after ditch, latrine after latrine. You carried body parts to medical tents. You ladled food for soldiers. And some of you provided comfort for them. They bless your hearts. Gave them motherfuckers hugs. And hugs turned into kisses, and kisses turned into babies. You know how the fucking shit goes. You earned that land. You earned that. You didn't beg for it. We are not a beggar people. I don't give a fuck what anybody says to you. We ain't never begged this country for a goddamn thing. Everything, everything, everything your ancestors have gotten and everything you have gotten, you fucking earned it. Everything we owed, we've earned. You are not a beggar, people. Fuck what the Pan-Africanists say. Fuck what these so-called conservative Negroes, these motherfucking, ideologue bed bucks and bed wenches. What the fuck do they know? They can't even be bothered to study history long enough to understand that black Americans ain't begging for shit. We're owed. You built it all. Your ancestors' bones are the bricks of America. Their blood is the mortar of America, and their sweat covers the walls. The edifice you see around you on the daily, that's yours. That's yours by birthright. Isn't it funny, like Code Ref said, a bunch of beggars from other countries come here and tell us that we're fucking begging. Ain't that a bitch? Oh, we are putting all their bullshit talking points to bed today, family. Like Genesis said, blood equity. You paid. Your ancestors paid your entry ticket into Americanness with sweat, with blood, with prayer, with their breaths and their bone. Now, of course, just like always, we got tricked the fuck again, because when Lincoln was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth, President Andrew Johnson was his VP, and he came into power, and Andrew Johnson hated niggas. He treated our brother, our ascended brother, Frederick Douglass, so disrespectfully and shabbily when he would come to the White House. At least Lincoln had enough motherfucking wherewithal and sense to actually treat the man like a mammal. Before Sherman issued Special Order Number 15, do you know that he had a talk with some of our pastors and leaders? And they were the ones who told him, we need land, and we need guns, and we need y'all to give us our due and to leave us the fuck alone. And Sherman was like, sounds legit. Again, to all you bastards that swear up and down that somehow America won't come up out they pockets, we'll see you. Bet you bitches will have your hand out when they do again, just like always, because we had our crabs in the barrel back then and we got them today. Ain't nothing new. Niggas don't act brand new. These are the same bitch motherfuckers that we had back in the day who would have been perfectly willing to kiss ass and suck the dick of massa until kingdom come. But whenever we had a chance to advocate, whenever we had a voice at the table, we always said the same thing. We need resources, we need protection, and we need you to get the fuck off our backs and leave us the fuck alone. Always. Same code, same message. That's what we're asking for America today. Give us our due. Give us protected status as a class. And then let us be fucking Americans and leave us the fuck alone. We ain't doing no different than what our ancestors did. All you doing, my ADOS family, is just picking up the mantle. Be proud of that shit. Andrew Johnson, his racist puck ass, after forgiving all of the goddamn rebels allowed them to come back into the South and take all their land back. General Sherman was actually sick over that shit. You do really understand that. He knew what justice looked like. You think he was keen to see these motherfuckers who was just trying to kill him months ago get blanket pardons from a weak-willed ass, pussy-ass motherfucker who was never even supposed to be president in the first fucking place? No! But like every soldier, he had to follow the dictates of his commanders. And in this country, the military is commanded by the civilians. So, let me continue to add another fucking brick to the edifice that is exactly why we fight. Because these same planters came back into the South and started trying to reinstitute slavery as fast as fucking possible. Except for one little bit of a problem. They punk ass lost. You think the North, after seeing the demise of 600,000 motherfuckers over 5 years, was gonna stand for them to just go back and do the same bullshit again? No! So, what ended up happening is that you had the advent of a group of Republicans called the Radical Republicans under Thaddeus Stevens, who came to power in Congress. Now, Thaddeus Stevens understood what justice looked like. So you know what Thaddeus Stevens and the Radical Republicans did? Well, the first thing they did was pass the 13th Amendment to the Constitution. Involuntary servitude, except as punishment for being convicted by due process of law, is banished. It's done from the United States of America. In 1868, they passed the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, giving birthright citizenship not to Mexicans, not to Guatemalans, not to Jamaicans, to us. We were finally, after 240 some odd years, was able to be citizens of this country that we helped build. Let me get that link for you. Give me just a second. And thank you for asking. I appreciate the support and the love. And in 1870, they passed the 15th Amendment to the Constitution, which gave the black man the franchise, the right to motherfucking vote. Because you see, that's what this country looks like when it finally goes ahead and it pays its debts. It pays what's due. It doesn't even hesitate. It doesn't blink. It doesn't squawk. So from 1865 to 1777, what you had in this country was what has now been referred to as the era of Reconstruction. And during Reconstruction, family, we got to come up. Let's just keep it a buck. We got to come up. No more slavery, ever. Except if your ass gets convicted of a crime. Don't worry, I'll address it. Gave us birthright citizenship. So in other words, if you've been born on this motherfucking country and on this soil, and you were a descendant of slaves, you are now a citizen. And it gave the franchise initially to the black man. Why? Because at that point in time in this country, only men could vote. Deal with it. By the way, before you feminists get all up in your feelings, we've got historical records that showed meetings between black men and women prior to any major vote where the sisters was telling the brothers how they supposed to vote. Because that nigga wasn't coming back up in the house having voted for some old extra shit without his wife having a say in it. You know, just before y'all try to divide us further. Thank you for the sub, Alex. Welcome to the Angry Black Sheep. But see, there was already, family, some issues on the horizon. First of all, like Sister Twyla said, you had the Freedmen Bureau. The Freedmen Bureau was underfunded and defrauded. Because unlike what a lot of these immigrants try to tell us, we actually do understand our own financial situations, you know. We understand that as former slaves, they ain't gave a shit. We ain't got shit. We free to starve, so we best to save. So the Freedmen's Bank, we saved our fucking asses off. We funded schools. The HBCUs, the seeds of them were born using the money and the funds that we collected through the Freedmen's Bureau. But America lost its heart, like it always do. Bunch of pussy-ass fragile. Don't worry, white folks, we still love you. And so in 1777, the withdrawal of the final forces from the Union Army from the South basically gave free reign for these motherfuckers who had been smashed, conquered, brought low to terrorize. So you saw the advent of groups like the Ku Klux Klan, the White Knights of the Camellia, the NRA. Ooh, did I say that? Yeah, and all of the rights that we had just been addressed, that we have just addressed with the 13th, 14th Amendment, and 15th Amendments to the Constitution were starting to be eroded away. Sorry, hungry. Our family, I'm hungry. Hope you hungry. I hope you brought snacks. Hope you brought something to drink. I told you, I'm going to fuck deep today. After 1777, it got bad. It got bad. And that's just keeping it real. It got fucking bad. After 1777, essentially, thank you, producer. I appreciate it, brother. Make sure to catch it on the playback. Between 1877 and 1953, we caught hell. Because remember, I told you, family, I fucking told you that it isn't just about slavery. No. It would actually be easier if it was only slavery we had to address. Because between 1877 and 1953, this was the era that produced convict leasing, debt peonage, mass lynchings, the advent of Jim Crow, Plessy v. Ferguson, right? The separate but equal doctrine, the denial of access to land. You know, we didn't have a chance to take advantage of the various homestead acts that were produced by Congress that just gave hundreds of acres to the most poorest ass dirt farming, three-tooth having, cousin fucking shit kicking Appalachian cracker who could go and apply for it. During this time frame, we also experienced redlining by the newly created FHA under the New Deal. We had to face sharecropping. Under the New Deal, everybody else got a chance to get work through the Works Progress Association, the WPA, and the Civilian Conservation Corps, the CCC, but not us. We didn't even get a chance to participate in Social Security. Why? Because Roosevelt wasn't able to push it past those Southern motherfuckers who had gained power again. And they kept out two primary groups with the creation of Social Security. That was agricultural workers and domestics. And who do you think made up the primary numbers of those folk? Oh, I'm not going to forget about all the different stolen land. Let's not forget about Seneca Village. Let's not forget about Greenwood in Tulsa. Let's not forget about Rosewood and other areas where our land was just simply taken from us, where our capital base was completely wiped the fuck out. They estimate that the economic value in today's money of the loss of capital from Greenwood alone is in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Welcome to the hardest working woman in show business, Sister Shar. Glad to have you, sister. $100 million for just Greenwood. We're not talking about the defrauding, the mass dispossession of what little land we did have all throughout the South and the North. Even still, we fought. Shout out to W.E.B. Du Bois. Shout out to Sister Ida B. Wells Barnett. Shout out to the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. Still we fought. We saved. We scratched and scrimped. Had rent parties. Sold plates of food. We funded ships. We funded motherfuckers in uniform. We had soldiers that fought in World War I. Again, trying to take full advantage of their own citizenship, who came back to mass lynchings. There was 19 brothers who was executed by the United States military for defending Black Houston against the potential race riot. They killed up a whole bunch of white motherfuckers, and they died by hanging for you. By the way, they still have not been pardoned for doing nothing more than defending their nation against enemies, foreign and domestic, doing their job. So it got bad. It got real bad. The 1930s was called the nadir of race relations. Do you know why? Because so many of us were being hanged, being lynched on a humbug. Women's children being cut out of their bellies. Men being mutilated, sexually assaulted, raped, and tortured before being burnt to death. And this wasn't just happening in the South. This was happening all over the motherfucking country. In Omaha, Nebraska, which is about as north of the motherfucking Mason-Dixon line as your ass could get. 20,000 white people snatched up 3 black men, and over the period of 3 days, rioted all over motherfucking Omaha, Nebraska. Lynched these brothers from motherfucking light poles. 20,000. 20,000 for 3 black men. Make it make sense to me. Make it make sense how we don't have a justice claim against this country after all of the shit I just mentioned. I didn't say slavery. Slavery we talked about and left an hour ago in this goddamn conversation. They owe us for not only making us the ones to eat the failure in this goddamn country, but making us a contagion to wealth. Because what was redlining but the U.S. government saying that black Americans should be allergic They should be a wealth allergen. Let me explain what the fuck I mean. Let's say that redlining wasn't even a thing. And your family in the 1930s decided that they wanted to move into a neighborhood that was predominantly white folks. Shout out to my beloved sister Jazz. Welcome to the broadcast. The moment that they set their feet on the block, this is before they even unpacked the motherfucking moving truck. The economic value of their white neighbor's property started to go into the toilet. Shout out to you, Brother Allen. Peace, G-Mac. So they made us an economic allergen, a contagion for poverty. Wherever we go in this country, poverty is supposed to follow us because we can't even live around white folk because the value of their shit diminishes with us there. That's what this country has done. That's what the laws, the actual systems and institutions in this country has done. It made us the one class that eats the fucking failure and turns us into contagion for poverty. I'm sorry, my black immigrant brothers and sisters, but that ain't you. That ain't you. You think that racism is because a motherfucking cab driver passes you and you can't get an Uber. You wouldn't know what the fuck it's like to face the crucible, to face the full force of the United States government instituting laws, policies, and procedures to ensure that you and only you eat up all the failure. Everybody else gets to eat the cake, and you get to eat the failure. America also slit our throats with the opening up of the doors to all of Europe through Ellis Island and mass immigration. And believe it or not, our leaders saw what the fuck was happening. So you know what Booker T did? He said, you're going to let in all these white folks. You're going to let in some black folks. So Booker T. Washington was one of the first to go on record to advocate for diasporan and continental African representation in the immigrant makeup of the United States of America. Otherwise, you motherfuckers would be over in your countries arguing this bullshit with us. You wouldn't even be here. You wouldn't even fucking be here if it wasn't for one of mine, Brother Booker T, who went there and put his ass, his political capital on the line to open up the motherfucking door for you. I hope there's Asians and Latinos watching, because when I say America owes a debt, that includes you. Just because you brought your ass over here as an immigrant, you signed up to take advantage of the benefits, then you signed up to take advantage of the debt. It's as simple as that. They were against mass immigration because they knew that as long as America had not paid its debt to us, that essentially the allowance of mass immigration of other peoples to America to take the place of a group of American citizens could only be deleterious. How fucking hard is it to understand that we're not xenophobes when we speak out against immigration? It hurts us directly. I should not have to, as a citizen, compete from the bottom position with a motherfucker who's not even from here. If I went over to Zimbabwe or Chad, what the fuck? How would you feel if I went over there and the government was benefiting me and giving me extra privileges and shit over Chadian citizens or Zimbabwean citizens? You would want to slit my motherfucking throat. But you want us to kiss your ass. You want us to be so concerned and cater to your feelings. When you've been over here basically slitting my motherfucking throat just by being here. And what's worse is even though I know I've been taking the L by having you here, I've still supported you being here. You dirty motherfuckers. My people have long been knowing that as long as we have the door open for you, that we are going to hold an L. Why? Because we have not been put in our rightful position as American citizens. If you want us to stop throwing smoke at you, ADOS should be something that should be a topic of discussion in every black immigrant community. Y'all should be backing our play like 40 going north. Y'all should be down, like as we say in the South, like 4 flats on a dump truck. Instead, what we get from you bitches is dissent, shade, disrespect, not just of us, but of our entire fucking lineage. You try to take every fucking example of some immigrant black person who came here usually before the advent of the civil rights era, which in those days, it didn't matter if your ass was from the Caribbean. If you didn't step your ass off the sidewalk when a white person walked past, you got treated just like a native black American. It made sense for you to hitch your star to the ADOS wagon in them days. But how many of you motherfuckers post-civil rights have been backing our play for anything? You know what the fuck this is. Post-civil rights era, post-affirmative action, post-voting rights act, post-civil rights act, we can't find you bitches. In 1954, the Supreme Court finally struck down Plessy v. Ferguson, right, with the Brown versus Board of Education case. But like many of you motherfuckers have been told the same bullshit lie that it was about school desegregation. No, it wasn't. It was actually about eliminating Plessy v. Ferguson. Remember, Plessy versus Ferguson was the Supreme Court ruling that instituted the separate but equal doctrine. They were able to clearly establish in the Supreme Court that segregation, that Jim Crow was separate but patently unequal. It was about getting back the resources that have been defrauded and stolen from our community under Jim Crow so that we could fund our own schools, so we could fund our own transportation systems, so we could fund our own business districts. It wasn't us begging the white man again. It was us going after what the fuck was stolen from us. And it fucking got flipped to be about diversity. Thanks, Thurgood Marshall, you Oh, abso-fucking-lutely. Spook said there's an African fraternity here at Morehouse. Wouldn't surprise me. There's an African caucus now that's pushing for fucking political power here in our country, but they got the nerve to be mad at us because we want to identify ourselves and stand on our distinct lineage and heritage. Get the fuck out of here. Don't worry, Jazz, it's true. Asians, Arabs, Latinos, all you motherfucking immigrants got something to answer for, and all of you owe me. So in the immortal words of my man Pookie, run me my shit, bitch. You just had New Jersey open up taxpayer-funded fucking scholarships for dreamers. Meanwhile, I know I got listeners in Jersey who are black people, who are native foundational black people, ADOS, niggas who can't even afford to fucking go to college. Tell them, Black Fist, get your motherfucking hands out my motherfucking pockets. We sick of carrying you bitches. We sick of being mules. Not just for every fucking group over here that feels like they get a little twinge of injustice. You know, gay is supposed to be the new black. How the fuck is something gonna be the new black when they ain't even addressed the old black, you stupid motherfuckers? The congressional black carcasses are a joke. They're rotting fossils that if we were smart, we would utilize this moment of connection, this moment of unity as ADOS, and we would ensure that in the next midterm elections that them motherfuckers is finding jobs elsewhere. I'm just saying. No, CRU, we don't have representation in the African Union. Hell, Haiti is a diasporan African country, and all they've got is associate status. They don't even have full-on status in the African Union. So much for that Pan-African shit. Everybody in this country gets a look. And you know why? Because in the 1960s, they passed the Civil Rights Bill, the Voting Rights Act, restoring what was due us, our rights as citizens in this country. They also, by the way, family, links to the documents that I reference are in the description. The description box has a link to 3 things. It has a link to a report that I'm going to mention at the end of the broadcast. It also has a link to the Moynihan report. This was the report that was done by Senator Patrick Moynihan that discussed the state of the black family and how comprehensively remediating the black man was the only way to address the issues that affect ADOS citizens in the United States. They've been knowing. Like, all these other motherfuckers is new to the party. They say, oh shit, they pushing for reparations. They on some new shit. This ain't new. They been knowing they owe us. And they been knowing who the reparations should go to. We kicked this country's ass during the civil rights movement. Because while some of you out there shade Brother MLK was necessary. You know why? Because anytime you go up against another power, you have to bring 2 items with you. You have to bring the carrot and you have to bring the stick. Our brother MLK was the carrot. Malik al-Shabazz was the stick. MLK is like, hey, you motherfuckers can work with me, or you can try to work with him. Similar to how Gandhi did things over in India with his Satyagraha doctrine, all that old peaceful shit. Meanwhile, you had Sikhs over there giving them motherfucking Britons that work. MLK said, and I quote, "It is a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself up by his bootstraps." That's the quote that I have on my ADOS coffee mug. People want to support my broadcast, support what I'm doing, right? I'm going to pop the link in there to my merch page. I want you to have tangibles for your support. Don't get me wrong. I love the tips. They definitely are beneficial and they do help. But if you want to support me, pick up your coffee mug so you can enjoy your morning Joe with your man. All right? That's right. Starman the Tuggies. You know, Hindu nationalist warriors who were slitting these motherfucking British soldiers' throats in the streets. The carrot and the stick. But see, they say we stuck on slavery, that we don't understand, that, you know, we just can't get this slavery thing out our head. No, it's not that. I can't get the slavery thing out of my head. I can't get the motherfucking convict leasing out of my head. I can't get the mass lynchings out of my head. I can't get the motherfucking the debt peonage out of my head and the sharecropping. Right? I can't get Jim Crow out of my head. I can't get Plessy v. Ferguson out of my head. I can't get the denial of my opportunities that was supposed to be a new deal for America out of my motherfucking head. I can't get the motherfucking crack epidemic out of my head. I can't get mass incarceration out of my head. Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna fucking get there. They said we stuck on slavery. Oh, American descendants of slaves, y'all just stuck on that slavery shit. You just need to let that slavery shit go. Okay, fine. Let's say that we decide to be idiots and let over 245 years of our ancestors' histories just go by the wayside, okay? Let's say that niggas collectively lost their motherfucking minds tomorrow and we just decided to forget that motherfucking slavery shit. Well, you still got another motherfucking 100 and some odd years of shit to answer for. Because all that other shit that I just mentioned was after slavery. You know, that part, you punk bitches. Oh, because I didn't tell you all the wonderful, magical shit that happened that was waiting for us after the civil rights movement, did I? In the 1970s, we had brothers and sisters coming back from Vietnam addicted to junk and the introduction of heroin into our communities. On top of that, they were already starting to outsource jobs elsewhere, jobs that we traditionally used even with lack of educational opportunities and so on and so forth as our entrees into the lower, if not regular middle class, were starting to be sent overseas. We had entire cities shuttered. We lost Detroit. We lost Flint. We lost areas of New Jersey. In the 70s, New York City went bankrupt. It was a fucking shithole. But unfortunately, you know, niggas, I love us, but I gotta indict us right now. Cause all you 70s motherfuckers that was grown during the 70s, all y'all cared about was partying, loose living, and government jobs. Yeah, I said it. I'm not hating you for it. But I'm gonna tell the truth about it, goddammit. You thought the struggle was over. Which is why my generation, Generation X, had no clue that we had a fight that we were still supposed to pursue. Y'all told us to make sure that we learn how to read, write, and do arithmetic, that we speak properly, that we get an education, and then we'll be able to get a job working at a company for 30 years, retire, and live like Americans. That's what you told my generation. You sold us a fucking bill of goods. In the 80s, you had Ronald Reagan come to power as the president of the United States and the advent of the war on drugs. George Herbert Walker Bush, the archdemon, who was also the head of the CIA, helped introduce crack cocaine into our communities and damn nearly decimated an entire generation of my people. This ain't history. This is my life. I was born in 73. I lived through all of this I'm telling you right now. The explosion of murder, of robbery, and the devastation of our already fractured ass communities. Again, by design. So, You think we hung up on slavery so much? You think we just can't get past the slavery bit? Answer for this. Bill Clinton already admitted. All the rest of them already admitted they had no justification for introducing the drug war to our community, but they turned the entirety of our people into a fucking criminal class. You know, the only way to re-enslave us. Leo, facts. Miss Kwame said Nigerians are an example of what ADOS would be doing if we weren't under oppression. They can be deported and we can't, so they are allowed to thrive. I'm sorry, but immigrants come here. They don't come here empty-handed. Sure, some of them come here and they don't have money. That's a fact. But you become a trained doctor, a medical doctor, or a dentist, or a chiropractor. You become a civil engineer, right? You become a lawyer. You become an academic or a scholar. And you too can immigrate to any country in the world and in a few years have a come up. They're not better than us. They just come here with an advantage that most of us don't have. Many of us can't afford to go to medical school or to get our Juris Doctor, to get our law degree, or to become engineers, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, civil engineers. We got sisters who have reached the heights of educational attainment who have hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt, yet this motherfucker can come here to America and not owe a penny, but still have the same education, and we're supposed to be comparable. I don't think so. You may come here with no money in your pocket, but you don't come here broke. We have all the evidence in the world that shows that even when we attain educational attainment, because the next thing, the third thing that I linked here in the description field of this video that you'll be able to see on the re-upload, on the replay, is I also linked to Duke University's report done by Darity et alia, including our brother Antonio Moore, that talks about what we get wrong about the racial wealth gap. And one of the fucking myths that needs to be dispelled is the fact that education will eliminate the racial wealth gap. It won't. It won't. In the 1990s, and again, we're no longer in history. This is my life. This is your life. In the 90s, Bill Clinton signed the omnibus crime bill, instituting 3 strikes on the federal level, instituting a 100-to-1 sentencing disparity for crack cocaine versus cocaine. By the way, 3 strikes wasn't just limited to federal prison. It quickly and rapidly passed to the states, meaning that you have brothers and sisters now who are doing life sentences. They will never get out of prison for what essentially constitutes nothing more than drug offenses. Nonviolent drug offenses. They've effectively re-enslaved a good portion of us. You have right now about 1.5 million black men who have been under correctional control, probation, parole. You have about 735,000 black men who are locked up in prison right now on the state, local, and federal level. Why am I saying black men? Sisters, let's not get it fucked up. They're not locking y'all up like that. Matter of fact, I saw an article that said that we should stop imprisoning women altogether. I didn't link that article. Look it up for yourself. Oh, there was one other gift that William Jefferson Clinton left us. You know, because that son of a bitch was the gift that kept on giving, you know. The first black president. He also, after decades of white folks being able to take advantage of welfare, no matter if they were able to get jobs and get a hand up or whatever or not, he changed aid for dependent families with children, or AFDC, to temporary assistance for needy families, also known as TANF, and put a lifetime cap of 5 years on you getting poverty assistance. You have to marvel at the absolute diabolical nature of that bastard who had the nerve to try to chide us because we didn't want to vote for his harpy ass bitch of a wife. That was in the 1990s. Oh, family, look, fuck slavery. Discount slavery altogether because we're not done. In the 2000s, with the removal of the Glass-Steagall Act, deregulating commercial banking. The Glass-Steagall Act was an act that was designed to separate investment banking from commercial banking. Commercial banking is the bank you all know about, where you put your paycheck, where you go and write a check and spend some shit, right? You know what I'm saying? Commercial banks. Investment banks is for motherfuckers who got capital. They do a little bit more risky shit. You know, like buy bonds and stocks and, you know, play the markets, create derivatives and so on and so forth. Well, up until 2000, actually 1999 was when the Glass-Steagall Act was repealed. Up until that time, investment banks could only be investment banks. Commercial banking was kept separate from investment banking, meaning that banks couldn't sit up there and gamble with your motherfucking savings. William Jefferson Clinton said, oh, and as one final gift to you, America, you know, a big fuck you, I'm going to repeal the Glass-Steagall Act. So now investment banks can buy up commercial banks. So now in this country, rather than having multiple different banking options, you basically got four. You got Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, right? JP Morgan Chase Bank, right? What's the other ones? US Bank and some other shit. That's it. Because they went through and swept up all of the motherfucking commercial banks. But there was another crime that they committed against us too. See, when the tech bubble bust, oh wait, did I jump ahead? Because that busted under Clinton too, right? All these white motherfuckers and Asian motherfuckers and Latino motherfuckers was making money hand over fist. All you needed to do was have a website and a fucking name. Crazymonkey.com. You ain't got no content, no real nothing you selling, but venture capital and angel financing is flying at you fast and furious. Companies that were worth jack fuck all one day ended up being worth billions the next. When that bubble popped and sent us into another fucking mini recession, niggas lost in too. So Shrub comes into office. You know, W, the decider. And 9/11 occurs, spiraling the economy out of whack. Shrub cut us checks and said, go shopping. The motherfucking terrorists hate us when we go shopping. I ain't even mad at you, Shrub. The banks started making these strange loans, though, to niggas. Those of you who are roughly around my age remember this shit. It was crazy. Cats that you grew up in the same motherfucking hood with, right? You know they hood cats. Y'all both grew up in the same motherfucking PJs. All of a sudden got houses. And I'm not talking about no punk ass houses either. I'm talking about like new houses, nigga. And you're looking at them like, nigga, you ain't even got a job. You selling dime pieces and shit, you know, maximum 8 balls out on the block. How the fuck you got a house? Wait a minute, man. You the weed man. You selling twump sacks on the corner. How the fuck you got a $500,000 house? Girl, you work at Burger King. How the fuck you got a house? All over television, you saw them. Low income, no income, no problem. We can get you into a house today. Low money down, no money down, no problem. We got you. We can finance it all. Oh, man. And the one thing my people have been craving for since we've been here is a piece of dirt to call our own. We ain't wrong for that. We not. Everybody want to shade us because we Americans. Man, fuck you. It ain't nothing wrong with wanting a piece of dirt that belong to you. So when Countrywide and all them other motherfucking ghetto loan mongers came into our communities, we bought. We bit. We bit lock, stock, and barrel. And they knew that we ain't had no money. Niggas wasn't lying. We wasn't lying about it. Matter of fact, why would a nigga have to lie when they telling you no job, no income, no problem, low down, no problem? What nigga would need to lie about that? Shit, we are a no job, no down having group of motherfuckers. That's not something we'd have to lie about. You can fill out that application and sign it in 2 minutes. You ain't got no assets, no capital, and no issues except you ain't got a motherfucking house. They saw you coming. They saw all of us coming. They knew we need. And so they predated upon us yet again. And in 2008, with the advent of Barack Obama, boom, the bubble popped. Now we in a whole world of fuckery. It ain't just us this time either. White folks is going through it too, because you know that old saying, when white folks catch a cold, niggas get pneumonia, right? But this housing bubble disproportionately somehow or another affected black people worse than any other body else in this motherfucking country. Disproportionately. We lost our homes in droves. You got brothers and sisters right now who are homeless, and they've been homeless since about 2009, 2010. That's real talk. It's 2019, and they've been homeless for 9 years because they took a hit they couldn't recover from. Because one thing about being ADOS in this country is you don't get to make too many motherfucking mistakes. See, if you know, one of our fellow white citizens, you can fuck up. You can catch a drug conviction and still pull yourself up out the mud, right? You can go bankrupt a few times and it's going to be all right. Not if you ADOS. We can't call it. We lack the social capital. We lack the motherfucking financial capital. So when we take an L, usually it's for life. We lost our homes, our jobs, and our savings. So while the recovery started under Barack Obama and continued under Imperator Trump the First, has been there, we ain't recovered. How you gonna recover when you didn't really have shit to begin with? And you lost what little you got. Shout out to the sisters, man. I know you hear a lot of smoke from us brothers, and rightfully so, because some of you motherfuckers ain't right. But man, y'all been leading the push for educational attainment and also proving my point at the same time. How many sisters we got now with advanced degrees, not just baccalaureate degrees, advanced degrees, who can't even break into the motherfucking job market? But y'all still carrying them high-ass student loans though, ain't you, sister? I see you. You think because you got your master's degree and your little Camry in your one-bedroom apartment with your cat that you done made it so you can look down on me and say, nigga, I did it. Why can't you? You ain't figured it out yet, sister. We both been sold a trick bag, a bill of goods. But ADOS has come to fix all that between us. It's come so that you don't have to keep trying to use your brother for reparations. This moment, this name honors our ancestors, and it introduces us as foundational Black Americans, Native Black people, whatever else you want to call us, to a concept that I don't think we've ever had. It introduces us to the one tie that binds our lineage. Because no matter how you living, brother, no matter who you date or marry, no matter what God you worship or don't worship, you and I come from the same motherfucking crucible. We have both, our descendants have both been through the same shit. We come from the same bloodlines. Because of the breeding plantations, we may actually all be related, quiet as it's kept. When we call each other family, we use it as a term of endearment. But how it could very well be true. We could all literally be family. ADOS gives us that. Gives us the opportunity to be family. And like family, we're going to have differences. We're going to beef. We're going to have heated ass discussions. But it don't break the tie that binds. Your ancestors' blood and my ancestors' blood cries out from the soil of America for justice. And we will have it. That I can promise you. We will have it. Our lineage is the tie that binds. And it's got these motherfuckers quivering in their boots. I'm reaching out, and you know who's grasping my hand? I got Muslim brothers and sisters that are grasping my hand. I got Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters grasping my hand. I've got gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, queer brothers and sisters grabbing my hand. I've got Democrats grabbing my hand. I've got Republicans grabbing my hand. I've got anarchists grabbing my motherfucking hand. I've got atheists grabbing my hand. We finally found the key that unlocks the golden door. Hashtag ADOS is an acknowledgement not of a movement. This is not the advent of a movement. This is a recognition of the tie that binds. This is us looking at others and saying, what's up, fam? And meaning it. before I finish this up, I'm going to give you one last reason why we fight. One last reason why we fight. Why ADOS will be the banner for us, foundational Black Americans, Native Black people, moving forward. If you didn't need any other reason to know why we fight, this one thing I'm about to share with you right now will be all the reason you need. This is a report published by Prosperity Now and the, let me point the right direction, your cameras reverse, Prosperity Now and the Institute for Policy Studies. The road to zero wealth. I'm not certain how many of you have had the opportunity to read this. I also linked it in the description because unlike these bitches who are trying to detract from ADOS, who are trying to tell you that you're bots, that you can't think for yourself, that you're Russian sock puppets and they got their hand up your ass making you say ADOS, making you say ADOS. No, unlike them, I actually believe that you are intelligent people and I respect you and I love you. And I want to make sure that you have all the information so that you can make the right choice. So we can eliminate the fence sitters, the coons, the traitors, the collaborators, so that we can move forward and do what the fuck we got to do. This report details a startling statistic. Here's the authors of the report. Shout out to them for the great work they did. And like I said, family, you will actually have this report yourself. So you won't have to sit there and depend on somebody to talk to you. You won't have to sit there and watch a video with somebody talking out the side of their motherfucking neck. You'll be able to rebut their bullshit. We've gotten past Politics 101 and 102. Now is the time for us to start reaching out the hand to each other, grasping each other's hand and organizing so we can get this push made. We can't be on this remedial shit. This is stuff we need to be knowing. Let me share with you some key findings. Earning a middle-class income does not guarantee middle-class economic security. White households in the middle income quintile, those earning $37,201 a year to $61,328 a year annually, own nearly 8 times as much wealth, $86,100, as middle income Black earners at $11,000, and 10 times as much wealth as middle income Latino earners at $8,600. This disconnect in income earned and wealth owed is visible across the entire income spectrum between these groups. Truth, did you say I clickbait? What else? So, I want to bring this part right here to you, and I'll read it out loud. I'm just highlighting it so you know where I'm reading it from. I got plenty of mods in here. I don't have time to deal with trolls. Boot this bitch ass motherfucker the hell up out of here. Are y'all ready for this, family? Are y'all ready for this information? That's okay. I'll take care of him. He's gone. This information right here, this last bullet point right here, says if the racial wealth divide is left unaddressed and is not exacerbated. I'm going to repeat that. If the racial wealth divide is left unaddressed and is not exacerbated further over the next 8 years, this means that if we don't address where we are right now, okay, and if nothing else is done, nothing to make it worse, that's what exacerbates means, okay? Median black household wealth is on a path to hit zero by 2053, about 10 years after it is projected that racial minorities will comprise the majority of the nation's population. Median Latino household wealth is projected to hit zero 20 years later or by 2073. In sharp contrast, median white household wealth would climb to 137,000 by 2053 and 147,000 by 2073, unquote. Now, let me clarify something for you. You, my dear ADOS family, live in the wealthiest country on the planet and one of the most expensive. And everything around you is ruled by cream, the green god. What is it? Cash rules everything around me. Facts, right? So what then does it mean for you and for me when by 2053 we have no cash, we have no wealth? This means, family, just one thing. That being unable to live as an American in America means you're dead. It's as simple as that. It may take a few decades, but we're done. After all the long and storied history of our ancestors in this country, all of the travails they face, all of the trials, all of the struggle, all of the theft, rape, brutality, murder, terror that their ancestors or that their descendants don't die with a bang. We die with a whimper. I do believe that I have established my case for ADOS moving forward. I do believe I have established my case. ADOS soldier, all the saving in the world won't protect us from this. We actually save at higher rates than most other ethnicities in this country. Make sure you read the report by Dr. Sandy Darity, Dr. Dark Hamilton. Our brother Tone collaborated on that report. They addressed the myth that black savings will eliminate or end the racial wealth gap. It won't. We only have one damn thing to do. We need to come together as family, as the ADOS family we are, and we need to grab this country by the throat and take back what it is that is due us. We can't do anything else. This is not to say that I'm against capitalism for all you aspirational ass niggas out there. I'm simply saying, how the fuck are you going to play the capitalism game with no capital? I'm not a socialist for all you motherfucking conservative dumb niggas out there. I'm just simply saying, conserve what? Yes, we definitely need to stress the importance of black families, but how are we going to fund those black families with nothing? We are already at this point, because we've been sidetracked, bamboozled, hornswoggled, buying into this motherfucker's plantation and that motherfucker's plantation. We already have been divided for too goddamn long. We've hem and hawed and played fucking games with each other. We've had fights about gender. We've had fights about sexuality. We had fights about religion. And meanwhile, we've sat here and let the goddamn clock run out. I am 46 years old. 2053 is actually within the possibility of my lifetime. So I'm supposed to sit here quietly and literally watch the demise of my people. The erasure of my people from the American stage. Because I can tell you for a goddamn certainty that zero wealth in a country where wealth is required for everything means you're done. This is not hyperbole. This is not me being the brother that cried wolf. Zero median wealth means you're done. How fucking hard is it to figure out? Everybody wants to run around with the different little bullshit ass tactics. And we're literally facing the social goddamn demise of our people, the economic demise of our people, and yes, possibly our physical demise. And you're out here playing fuckery. We don't have time. I don't have time. I don't give a fuck about anybody's feelings at this point. I don't give a fuck if you feel some kind of way. The data doesn't lie. So, you want me to forget about slavery? Fine, fuck slavery. You want me to forget about Jim Crow? Fine, fuck Jim Crow. How am I supposed to forget about the fact that I have children who will grow up in a world where they won't even have the fucking resources to live in the country that is their right to live in? If I didn't need any other reason to embrace ADOS, I have that, because I'm not the only one with children. You have children. So many of you in my broadcast are mothers and fathers. This information I just presented, this is what your children have to face. If we do nothing and they do not do anything worse, which we know if anything in this country can happen to black folk is that shit gets worse. By 2053, this is what we're facing. But if they play more fuckery, and if we keep continuing to sit around here and play games with each other and have debates over the meta nature and all this other bullshit, it may be before 2053. I have established my case for why we fight under the banner of ADOS. I have debunked thoroughly all of the bullshit from the naysayers. So I only have one question at this point, ADOS family. What y'all gonna do? What are we gonna do? We're gonna continue to sell each other pipe dreams about Pan-Africanism and shit like that. Not saying it's not a great idea. I'm saying it's unrealistic and hasn't served us in any real good stead so far. We're going to continue to allow motherfuckers who try to tell us that we just need to stop buying Jordans and, stop buying Coach bags and, save our money and buy black and spend black. We won't continue to let them continue to control the narrative when we've already thoroughly debunked the fact that doing all of that will not eliminate the racial wealth gap. Are we going to continue to allow people to sit here and call us beggars and white ass kissers because we are actually advocating for what is our due as citizens in this country? Or will we fight? That's the only question left for any of you ADOS family to answer. Are we going to heed the call of our ancestors' blood from the soil? Stand up as Americans. I'm not an African. I descend from African people, but my heritage is American. American descendant of slaves. As much blood as that flag might be dipped in, it is my flag. This is my homeland. So are y'all with me? Are you with me? Can we link up the hand together in love? Fuck everything else. Fuck the differences. Fuck the bullshit. Can we link up hands together? Can we organize? Can we make sure that 2053 comes and goes with us having finally gotten our goddamn due from this country and we holding it? Because getting our due, believe it or not, family, is not going to be the hard part. The hard part is going to be keeping it. Can I count on you, my ADOS family, to ride with me to ensure that we not only fight to get it, but we fight collectively to keep it? That's the only motherfucking question you owe anybody an answer to. You don't owe immigrants no motherfucking answers. You don't owe no other black groups any goddamn answers. You don't owe them shit but stiff dick and bubblegum. If they can't be advocates, if they can't be allies, then tell them to fall the fuck back or get ran over. We ain't got time to be catering to people's feelings. We ain't got time to be concerned about, oh my God, y'all going so hard in on us. We ain't even done nothing to you. Fuck you. Are you ADOS? And we having this conversation? No, fuck you. Are you one of the interested parties, you know, like white Americans and other Americans that we're going to have to negotiate with and talk to ensure we get our due? No, fuck you. Are you willing to ally with us and make sure that you don't center yourself around the shit to see us get our due? No, fuck you. That's it. There ain't no more conversation that needs to be had. Andrew, let me tell you something. Where the fuck are you going to go? Huh? I hope you got something going on in Africa or someplace else that I don't know about. Because I'm a citizen here. I can vote here. I've got rights here, free speech here. I can own a firearm here. I can protect myself sometimes here. Where the fuck else are you gonna go? Do you got a connection you ain't told the rest of ADOS about? Do you got a plug that we somehow just overlooked? America can drown, and then where will you go? And so if you hate America, fine. I don't care. If you want to separate from America, that's all fine and dandy. I know that there's brothers and sisters out there that say, fuck America. Give us our due and let us go. I'm with you. I support you. I support your right to have that. So why don't we just go ahead, get our due, and then if you feel like bouncing, there's the dough. Ain't nobody stopping you. But I don't want to hear this shit about my homeland where I'm drowning. I don't want to drown here. Sorry. You may not want to be here. Fine. Go. I won't stop you. You go with my blessing after we get our due. Anybody who wants to repatriate to the continent or to other diasporan countries, go with your brother Mark Black's blessing. No shade. But the last thing you fucking get to do is wish ill on my homeland. This is where my ancestors' bones is buried. The fuck I look like wanting to see it drown. Are you high? It may not be for you. Fine. Go elsewhere. Help us win this fight, and then you're free to go and do whatever the fuck it is that you want to do. I personally ain't with going over there acting like I'm going to be a part of the motherfucking dog bone that China and America and any other interested party wants to gnaw on, because Africans don't look like they trying to get together and do anything for themselves. While they sit here and tell us that we don't unify amongst ourselves, what the fuck are they doing over there? They just let America come in and just wipe out Gaddafi. They let America get rid of Robert Mugabe. I wouldn't be surprised if they just let something happen to Julius Malema. So what the fuck we look like taking lessons on Pan-Africanism from them motherfuckers? Show me that Pan-Africanism can work. How about showing me it can work by actually doing some Pan-African shit in Africa? Thank you, Sister Twyla. Look, I just want the bag. I want what's due for me and my people. And then I want to be just an average, normal, everyday fucking American like I have the right to be. I'm not looking to motherfucking immigrate to anywhere else. I don't necessarily hate this motherfucker. I don't like what it's done to me and my people. And I have every right to critique it. You know why I have the right to critique it? Because I'm a motherfucking citizen of this country. That's part of the rights we have in this country, is to critique it. And I do critique it. But damn all the motherfuckers that want to see it drown in shit. Thank you, Kendra. Uncolonize your shit. You know what, family? Yeshua was reputed to have said in the scriptures that before you address the speck in your brother's eye, take out the beam in yours. Continental Africans got beams up their asses, but want to come over here and tell us how fucked up we are? Diasporan Africans from everywhere got freedom in hand and a land base, and they still running their asses here. But they asking me, oh, be on some Pan-African shit, brother, give it up. Fuck America, give it up. Fuck you. You breaking your neck to get over here, but you asking me to leave it? Somebody make it make sense to me. Talk black to me for a second. Talk to me like I don't have an education. You sitting here jumping on boats, planes, trains, and auto motherfucking bills to get your ass over here. But you telling me that on some Pan-African shit, fuck America. Excuse me? Like, what part of the game is that? I got ancestors' bones buried in Mississippi. I got ancestors' bones buried in Georgia. I got ancestors' bones buried in Missouri. Oh, but fuck my ancestors, right? I'm just supposed to go leave them so I can go to another country where I got to wait 15 years just to be able to get a motherfucking passport, let alone any type of citizenship. But hey, it's all about Pan-Africanism, right? I got to go to a motherfucking country where they done sold all their secrets to Beijing. So I'm supposed to trade one oppressor for another one. And only this oppressor's language I don't even speak, because I don't speak Mandarin. Oh, you thought I was talking about Africans when I was talking about oppressors. Nah. Africa's about to be a wholly owned subsidiary of China Inc. if it doesn't get its shit together. Y'all better learn how to say ni hao. Wo jiao maku. Shishi. You better learn your motherfucking Mandarin. Why you sitting here talking shit about me and mine? Look, we got a motherfucking issue that we need to address with our white people. And we will. Okay? ADOS family, we got some issues that we need to address with our nationals, with our people. Right? There's a debt that's due. They got to come up out their pockets and make us whole. But don't listen to these motherfuckers who's trying to get you to take your resources that you done finally fought your ass off for and run some other motherfucking place else just so that they can take it from you and hand it to their new colonial masters. Don't be stupid. Ni hao, niggas. You better learn that Chinese shit right now. Y'all still over there in them CFA countries using a currency that even France don't use no more. But you got the nerve to talk shit to me and mine. Please. Between the Chinese and the Indians, y'all just get the motherfucking Asian train run on you. But you want to come over here and throw shade at us. You want to come over here and create your little ethnic enclaves and act like y'all don't know who the fuck made y'all's way for you. Miss us with the bullshit. We know what y'all call us. Abruni, Akata, Abit. We know what the fuck you call us, and we still show you love. Show you how scandalous you bitches have been the last 3 weeks talking about we hate y'all. Y'all shown us more disrespect and hatred every day you come here than we ever have for you. But you got the nerve to tote your nose up in the air and act like y'all too good to come over here and fuck with us. But you want them benefits, though. You want them Hollywood roles. Isn't that right, Chiwetel Ejiofor? Isn't that right, Daniel Kaluuya? How the fuck they got Daniel Kaluuya playing Fred Hampton? I fucking can't. Like, I fucking can't. By the way, shout out to all of you angry black sheep. I don't know if y'all can see that number up there. That 600 represents we just broke the 600 subscriber mark. And that was all due to y'all's efforts. I love you motherfuckers. Thank you. Tell me how the fuck we supposed to have Daniel Kaluuya, a motherfucking UK, British, African motherfucker playing Fred Hampton. Who Fred Hampton embraced a lot of different people. He was one of the few ADOS people who were able to get white folks, Latinos, Asians, and black people on board the same justice train. He was mighty, but he was also a motherfucking American descendant of slaves. And you got some UK Nigerian. I don't even know what the fuck Daniel Cook. What's his ethnic group? Is he Yoruba, Dao man form? What the fuck is he? Cause I know he ain't us. But he's playing Fred Hampton. Yet they got the ADOS brother playing the goddamn villain O'Neal. Explain this shit to me. You bitches have come over here and swollen fat like ticks off of our efforts. And you got the nerve to shade us? We support y'all's movies. Look, I went and saw 12 Years a Slave, even though Chiwetel Ejiofor played motherfucking Solomon Northup and Lupita Nyong'o played Patsy. How many of y'all saw King? Even though Daniel Yellowo was playing motherfucking Martin Luther King and Lupita Nyong'o was or whatever was playing Coretta Scott King. Just spitting in our motherfucking face. No, what they did was piss on our head and tell us it was raining. You got bitches like Joyanne Reid on the news channels. She's Ugandan and fucking Guyanese, but she's claiming to represent what is blackness in the United States. You bitches got a lot of goddamn nerve. Y'all want to throw up y'all's hands in histrionics and start clutching your pearls. Well, I never, when we start coming at you telling the truth about how the fuck y'all done us, begging us to support our own fucking erasure is what you've been doing. And now you're mad because we calling you on it. Like Twyla said, Jedi mind tricks. Fuck out of here. Cynthia Erivo as Harriet Tubman. What? What? Oh my God. That would be like, you know what I'm saying? That would be like Megan Good playing Queen Nzinga. What the hell? What the fuck? African Immigrant Caucus looking to develop political power in this country. And y'all are what? Y'all make up what? There's what, 42, 43 million black people in this country, of which maybe 3-4 million of them are Africans and diasporans. And y'all want political power, but y'all don't want to go through us to get it? Y'all want to step up and be the gatekeepers, the arbiters of what it means to be black in this country? Fuck out of here, man. Fuck out of here. Y'all some cold motherfucking pieces. You come into my country as a goddamn guest and then expect me to fall back and let you play host. When you know there's no way in hell that ADOS people could go to any of your motherfucking countries and do the same. You shitty, rotten, black-hearted motherfuckers. I'm not spending a goddamn dime on any movie, any more movies, any more media where the motherfucking lead role is supposed to be an ADOS person, but they got some motherfucking UK immigrant or Nigerian motherfucker or Ugandan motherfucker or whatever the case may be. Hold your own goddamn nuts from now on. I ain't lifting not a near one of you motherfuckers up again. I'm not on no more motherfucking, what's that bitch who was in Girls, Tiffany Haddish? I'm not supporting that bitch. I've been through supporting Roland Martin punk ass. If you not ADOS, I got nothing for you, man. I don't care if you a rapper. Bye-bye, 21 Savage. Don't forget the right. And remember, that conversion rate between dollars and pounds is a motherfucker. I ain't got nothing for y'all, man. That Cardi B bitch who's Dominican all day long will tell you quick than a motherfucker she ain't black, but she want to get black money. Fuck that bitch too. Fuck all these motherfuckers. We've been doing nothing but giving them shine, but lifting them up. Issa Rae bitch ass, gotta go. Gotta go. She ought to change the name of her show to Diary of a Dumb Black Bitch. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Tiffany Haddish gets put on for that movie, you know, that she did recently. We put her on because we love the movie, right? First of all, they hid her among a nest of dope-ass ADOS actresses, right? You know what I'm saying? So she starts getting some shine because what? Because she was the most ratchet, loudmouth, disrespectful, crazy-ass bitch in the whole goddamn movie, you know, like they like to see us. And then all of a sudden, when she starts getting some shine, she just strangely remembered that she was of Eritrean descent. They come over here and they either play our best among us, roles that should be going to African Americans, if you will, American descendants of slaves, or they come over here and play the most ratchet, fucked up ones among us. Shout out to my brother, my elder, BGS. Welcome to the broadcast, sir. Hoorah. Shout out to my brother Kraken, too. Welcome to the broadcast. So you see, family, the fuck it doctrine is in full effect. The fuck 'em doctrine, I should say. Fuck 'em and feed 'em beans. Fuck 'em if they can't take a joke. Right now, ADOS family, it's time for a little self-care. It's time for us to reach out to each other with a little bit of love, with a little care and concern. Thank you, Kawami, for joining the Angry Black Sheep. We are glad to have you. Welcome home. Right? Let us reach out to each other for a change. Let us deal with our white folks, because say what you will about them evil motherfuckers, they are white folks. Let's go ahead and have dealings with America. Let's go ahead and take care of this business. Because it's all it is. It's just business. It's a debt that's been long overdue. And they've been ducking and dodging us. You know, like that nigga that owe you, but he say he gonna pay you on payday, but then you can't find him. America been bobbing and weaving, ducking and dodging. But we catching up to this bitch. Come on now. Come up out your pockets. And America's gonna finally go ahead and break it off so we can be Americans together. Because right now, America has us as its greatest vulnerability. Do you understand that? America can go anywhere in the world and be on some superhero shit. And the first thing the bad guys on the other side will say, but look at how y'all treat niggas. But you know what's fucked up? All this shade we've been getting, all of this bucking, you know what I'm saying? All of this, you know what I'm saying, kicking against the motherfucker, kicking against the pricks, right? All of it ain't been coming from no white folks. I ain't been really getting no shade from white folks. I've talked face to face with white folks, telling them what ADOS is about. And you know what they're saying? They're like, well, is it going to be for like all black people or just like American black people? If they conservative, if they liberal, they're like, well, shit, we really should have been done this a long time ago. I can't really be mad about it. Right? So white folks, no static, no fuckery. We getting this bullshit from our so-called brothers and sisters in the diaspora and on the continent. Andrew, let me ask you a question before I answer your question. Are you subscribed to my channel? Are you one of my subs? If I go on the list right now and see my list of subs, your name is going to be there. Am I correct? Because if it ain't, I'm about to boot your ass the fuck up out of here. We don't have no leaders. We have lineage. But see, if you was one of my subs, you would understand that already and I wouldn't have to fucking repeat myself. So unless you're going to stick around and learn yourself something, then be prepared to get kicked the fuck on. Because I don't have time for your remedial ass questions and your little low-key shade bullshit. Are you subbed to my channel? Yes or no? And you ain't got too fucking long to answer. Andrew Glenn, you see me? Are you subbed? So if I go on this list of subscribers, I will see your name there, right? You kill it with that low-key ass bullshit asking these remedial ass questions. You done heard me say in this broadcast that yes, we have people that we esteem, that we respect, but they are not our fucking leaders. You won't be able to kill Yvette Carnell and think you're going to stop this shit. You won't be able to, co-opt Brother Tariq Nasheed and think that this is going to stop this shit. You won't be able to shut down the Professor Black Truth or Jason Black's channel and think you're going to shut this shit down. You feel me? So no more goddamn remedial ass questions. Start boning up on the knowledge you need to learn to be an effective fighter. No worries, Andrew, but I'm telling you, we don't have time for that remedial shit. Asking about leaders and agendas. There's all sorts of motherfucking information that's flying out here. We've had entire broadcasts where we sat down and created lists of shit to be able to go before local politicians, regional politicians, and yes, national politicians. There's a whole entire website, ADOS 101, where you could go there right now and see a whole list of shit that makes up and constitutes a real Black American, foundational Black American or ADOS agenda. Okay? So we don't have time to hold your hand, Andrew. We got building to do. You feel me? That's all I'm saying. Watch yourself. We ain't got time for remedial shit. We on some old 201, 301, 401 shit over here, okay? We glad to have you. But those little basic ass questions that seem like low-key shade, I got a real short tolerance for that, and you'll find yourself watching content elsewhere if that shit happens too often, okay? That's all I'm saying. You and me, we good. If you a sub, we good. Watch my other broadcasts. Get boned up on some shit. Use your resources, okay? And if you do have legitimate questions, ask them. Facts. The elder said this is an old problem whose time is come. G. Scott, I ain't even mad at you. I have a huge respect for Dr. Carnell because she is a doctor. She's got an honorary doctorate, so she is a doctor. I have a huge amount of respect for Dr. Carnell and for Brother Antonio Moore, but they are not my leaders. I respect them. I esteem them. But if they disappear tomorrow, I got my lineage. I got my ties that bind with my man, Big Smith Dog. Right? Where the fuck are my mods? I'm not dealing with trolls. Searle 84, bitch, you have been dismissed. Family, there is going to be the first inaugural annual ADOS conference at Simmons College in Louisville, Kentucky. Friday, October 4th, all day, and part day, October 5th. Tickets are available on eventbrite.com. Go there and get your tickets. Be there where you can see people face to face. Your brother is going to... Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate the love, man. Thank you so much. Come there. Your brother's going to be there with his camera and people's faces and that mic in their faces bringing you the information on my journalist shit. Y'all going to be able to see me, touch me, hug me, punch me if you feel like it because I done cussed some of you motherfuckers out. But you'll be there with family. People asking, what's the agenda? People asking, what's the game plan? Show your bitch asses up October 4th and October 5th and help develop the motherfucking game plan, you lazy bastards. Help develop the agenda. Our lineage is all the fuck we need. Sister Twyla's killing the game today. But we also need organization. I already got my tickets. I picked my tickets up the first motherfucking day they was available. I got mine. And you will definitely see. Y'all gonna be like, oh shit. Mark Black is in this motherfucker. I've been listening to this nigga talk shit for... I'm there to enjoy myself and do work at the same time with my family, my peoples. So family, let's get off this remedial shit. We got work to do. Ain't no shade, ain't no hate. We got work to do. We don't have time for remedial shit. Okay? Family, I'm going to go ahead and finish this one up. I would do my normal shout out through the chat, but there were so many people. So just understand that I love you, man. Y'all my family. I even love the haters. If you ADOS, I even love the haters. If you're mad at your man because I'm trampling all over your beloved, Pan-Africanism or whatever, hit the hater button. I don't care. Right? I'm still gonna fight for you. But for all the rest of you motherfuckers, if you're not ADOS, an American citizen that's an interested party or an ally, fuck you. I don't have shit I want to hear from you, and I don't have shit to say to you. This is business. We ain't got time for you. 2053 ain't waiting for none of us. So family, until the next time you hear from your beloved brother, which should be tomorrow for Morning Joe, my mug came here today. So I should get the chance to show off the ADOS mug, but I'm telling you, family, it's beautiful. It's got a quote on there from our brother MLK. And on the back, it's got the Angry Black Sheep logo to represent your channel. If you really want to support your brother, go ahead and pick one up. I get a portion of the sale of each one of those, okay? And it's that way you can lift your cup up every morning and represent with me, all right? If you feel like it, make sure you hit the links. I did put them in the chat. They're getting passed around. If you got some spare coins, please show a brother some love. Support your interest, okay? And remember, family, this ain't a movement. This ain't just a hashtag. ADOS represents your lineage, your blood right, your ticket that you've already had paid for the greatest motherfucking party on the planet. This is a transformational moment. And you live among one of the best times to be one of us. Get together with your brothers and sisters and let's do work. Until the next time I see you, family, love, peace, prosperity, and power. Real power to our people.